afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm going to tell you why our team has won this debate. Now, first of all, I'm going to start off with some rebutting. Now, they gave us the model that 60% of their budget would be put to environmental growth and the rest would be put towards the economy. But there is one tragic flaw with this. After all the expenses, after all the money has been put away to all of the things that the country is spending on, such as their military, there will be no more money to spend on their economy. And thus, no more jobs, no more money for our people of the world, people of the country. And it seems that throughout this whole debate so far, Team Proposition has given you such extreme views of how we pollute the whole world with our smog and how we pollute all our lakes with sulfuric acid. But come on. We are all smarter than this. We all know that there are safety standards. We would not just let factories dump all of their sulfuric acid into lakes to kill all of the animals in there. And Proposition 2 speaker also, no, thank you. Proposition 2 speaker also talked about, also gave an extreme case about if the country has no population, what use is it? Again, an extreme example. She also went on to talk about, one sec, I'll take it in a minute, how we need to slow production of our factories. However, this is simply not possible. The population is growing all over the world, and our country's population are growing, and they need all of the products that these factories make. Yes.
Don't you believe that when my speaker said that we won't have any population anymore, she was referring to the long-term situation which this will lead to?
Long-term. I'll get back to you on my points. So firstly, about my point on my first point is about what do our citizens need right now. I want you all to imagine a pregnant woman who has 2 children already. And what does she need? Does she need a plant in the corner of her house? Or a job and money to feed her kids?
Point of information?
Yes.
If you're talking about a pregnant woman, how would the pregnant woman feel if her child dies because of smog?
Let's look at the present day. She needs a job to get meals for her children the next day. We may need trees all the way in the future, 50, 100 years, but right now, they need those 3 square meals, and they need a bed to sleep in the next day. The reason why this is important is because they would want a job that would let them survive for the next day. And would you, as law-abiding citizens, would you really want your tax money to go to stopping people from throwing garbage on the ground, or would you want it to go to keeping your jobs?
Point of information.
No, thank you. And also, let me show you what Team Proposition's model leads to. More spending on the environment is less spending on other vital areas. Healthcare, making jobs, and keeping the standards of our country. So, let me give you this example. If you were, for example, shot in the stomach, would you want the healthcare of the government, the money of the healthcare of the government, to go to planting trees, or would you want it to go to saving your life? On to my next point about how there really is already enough awareness. Firstly, let me give you the example of Greenpeace. It has awareness all over the world. We all know what Greenpeace is, of their various demonstrations, and everyone now is taught about the environment, and we know the implications. As you've seen all around the school, there is recycling bins everywhere, and there is awareness, and there is a green club if you guys join JC. And furthermore, there are huge drives every year. Let me demonstrate. I'll take it in a minute. There is the beach cleanup in Dubai, and this is the people's power. This is the people's drive to make sure our environment is better. So why should the government serve? Oh, this is David. It is the people's power. How would they feel if the government starts interfering and taking all of their money and making them do things that they do not want to do? It is your drive. It is whether you want to change the economy, the environment, rather than the government. And just before I finish, I'm just going to go through each continent and tell you why they need more economic growth than environmental. North America, $17 trillion in debt. They don't need to focus on the environment. South America, huge unemployment. Europe, debt everywhere. Africa, they're developing countries. They need to focus on their economy. Asia, they're developing countries as well. And Japan, they've got a deflated economy. And last but not least, Australia. They need the growth to cope with immigrants. So what have I told you today? I've rebutted all of the points that Team Proposition has brought forward. I've given you my points on what our citizens need right now, and I've told you why there is already enough awareness. And so, I beg you to oppose this motion.
Woo!